Thank you for joining us, Tiara May Sims. You are a candidate for Iowa House District 43. Talk to me about why you became a candidate.
I became a candidate. I think my biggest reason was my children, specifically my son, who is diagnosed with autism when he was about 3 years old. Just seeing things in the school district that I thought I wanted to see changes for and maybe advocate for. I realized that a lot of this stuff came down from the state legislature. So the first big issue when he started kindergarten, he didn't have a special education teacher the entire year. They had hired a new one. She was pregnant at the time, and once she went on maternity leave, she didn't come back, and that was like uh, fall-ish of his kindergarten year. So I wondered how did they not replace her, And then I learned about teacher shortages and the incentives that we need to have in the state to get teachers to want to actually stay in the education field and come to Iowa to live here and start their careers. We have a great teaching university in UNI, and all of the public universities are great. So that's kind of what sparked it. Was my son. I often joke and say it's his fault.
Talk to me a little bit about what you will do if you obtain a seat in the Iowa House.
Sure. So I've been campaigning. My top platform priority is education, public education specifically. I believe that public dollars belong in public schools, and I want to get to the Capitol and really reform the voucher system that's been created. I think we're early enough right now that there's still time to take it away if we get the numbers, and the Republican Party doesn't have the supermajority that they do now. But if we go much longer, my fear is that it's not going to be something that we can reverse, and we'll just have to kind of live with.
What does District 43 need the most? What are you going to do to help it become a stronger district?
Sure. So for one, we certainly need representation that is advocating for our district. Our current representative, unfortunately, he does agree with the voucher system that the governor pushed 2 years ago. Our community, the heartbeat of it is our school district for sure. We don't have any private schools in the Johnston area, so it's kind of, you begin to wonder why he's advocating and pushing for that so much. And to be clear, all students do deserve the ability to have an education that is meant for them. But what I'm saying is that public dollars certainly deserve to be in public schools. And right now with the voucher system, about 1.5 million is being taken out of the Johnston Community School District. We also need a representative that if he's going to stand on the principles that he is campaigning on, he has to actually be held accountable for what he's doing. He'll go to the Capitol, he'll vote one way, but he's on the doors right now telling people other things, and that's unfortunate. So I would like to have a representative, whatever his beliefs are, just stand on them at the very least.
Yeah, you talked about your incumbent candidate mate, and you have two others, or three. There's three in total of you guys running in this race. So talk to me a little bit about what makes you stick out. What makes you the best candidate for the job?
Sure. I've been campaigning just by telling my story. I believe that at the Capitol we need some representation that's representative of Iowans' everyday life. And I want to take my story and things that I've gone through, and I want to take it to the Capitol and really make sure that when we're passing bills and when these grandiose bills are created, that we understand that there are real life people that are impacted when we make those decisions. Sometimes things are rushed so quickly. For instance, the AEA bill that passed this last session, stakeholders weren't given an opportunity to say how we felt. We had to go outside of the actual legislators, to make our points known. But they never stopped to sit down with the stakeholders and say, how does this sound? What can we do better here? It was just rushed. And so I think that's what really stands out for me is that I want to take my story and I want to take Iowan stories and I want to get them in front of the legislature so that we understand when bills are passed and when they're presented that people are impacted and why we need to know why we're doing what we're doing first off. So.
You talked about how you will advocate for education, and that's one of your top priorities. What are other things that you are going to accomplish if you are elected for Iowa House District 40?
Certainly. So education, women's reproductive freedom, those two right now are at the top of my agenda, the Democratic agenda. It's imperative that women have the ability to make decisions for themselves, for their bodies, for their potential family planning. Government has no business in our doctor's offices. So that is another thing that I want to get to the Capitol and really work on. But bodily autonomy is essential, and we need to absolutely get rid of this 6-week abortion ban.
You spoke a little bit about your incumbent, the incumbent in this race. Can you talk a little bit more about how you would differ? Are there ways that you would do the same? How is that?
You know, I don't think that there's much politically that we agree on. For instance, with women's reproductive rights, he voted for the 6-week abortion ban, and he does not believe in any type of exceptions for rape, incest, age. When the House Democrats even tried to present a 12-year, an age limit to the bill that they presented, to at least 12 and younger, he voted against that also. So yeah, there's not much politically that we agree on, but I think one thing that I would do differently is, again, listen to stakeholders. You've got to listen to everybody, Republican, Democrat. Also, I think that, when I plan to, I think for myself, and I use the information that I have presented in front of me from both sides. There's no expectation that I'm always going to follow what the Democratic Party is presenting without me getting my research and understanding fully how it's going to impact my district. And that's another difference that I believe I'll make, that our incumbent currently, he's just kind of following party lines. And I certainly am not going to do that.
And you talked about, working across the aisle, but how would you do that? How would you foster, that collaboration with both sides?
Really just be myself. I'm a negotiator for my career, actually. And so it's really easy for me to talk to everybody. And everyone's feelings are real to them. They're true to them. I believe what I believe. The Republican Party, they believe what they believe. And they truly believe that. And it's important that we at least try and understand each other's viewpoints. I want to believe that things are not as pretentious at the Capitol as maybe we see on social media. These top issues come about and it seems as though they're just going at their heads. I've seen both sides together, and it does look like there's a sense of camaraderie there, and I just plan on following that. We're not gonna agree on everything, of course, but I think just by being myself and being approachable and accessible and asking questions, respect goes a long way. That's also how I've been running my campaign. You respect me, I respect you. I think people are comfortable talking to me.
Well, Election Day is right around the corner. It's almost time to figure out who will be the next Iowa House District 43 representative. What is your final push to voters of why they should select you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I really want voters to understand that we need a representative that is going to listen to everyone and not go in with a predetermined agenda that is created specifically by the parties that we represent. We have to listen to our stakeholders, i.e. the community in District 43. Women's reproductive rights are on the ballot. If that's something that is keeping you up at night as a woman of childbearing age, or if your daughters are coming of age, I'm the candidate that you want representing you. If public education, if it is making you sick that we are spending so much money on private schools from public dollars, I'm the candidate that's going to represent this district in a way that's going to be beneficial for our school district and for the women and young girls that are in our district as well.
Awesome. Tiara, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brett Nelson, and I'm running for state representative. I've been running for office since 1998, and I don't have a lot of rich friends, and that's why I'm not in there. But anyway, basically my background is I've got a political science from the University of Iowa, and I've got a forestry degree from Iowa Community College, and I have my family, my mom worked in the governor's office for Robert D. Ray, and my father was a lobbyist in Washington, D.C. And so it's in my blood, but the funny thing is my family told me, you can do whatever you want in life, just don't run for office. And so here I am. But the reason I keep running, even though I never have gotten in yet, is because at least I can share the views for the people. And if things get bad enough, maybe they'll need my background and experience. So here I am today.
Talk to me a little bit about some of the stances that you're running your candidacy on.
My biggest passion has been for the last 25 years is water quality. It's not some of the recent things going on, but water quality is becoming more and more of an issue. I have a background in forestry, so my I guess my pet issues are the conservation, wildlife management, and think of not just what we need today, but what the future generations are going to need. Because it seems like politics today, everyone's like, well, what do we need to do today? What do we need to do today? And it's like, let's take a step back and look what we need to do for the next generation. And that's what I've always leaned for. And there's a calling that I'm here even speaking to today. I was in a motorcycle accident like 30 days ago, and I wasn't even supposed to walk again, and I'm on a walker, and my prayers have been answered, and I'm here just to speak for the Lord.
Can you talk to me a little bit about what you think your district needs?
Well, our district has been very proactive as far as community involvement. I mean, we've got the Boosters Club. We've got a football team that's going to go to state and win. And I think the educational environment has been doing a lot of positive things as far as proactive things, as far as for mental health, for helping kids, for safety, security, and things like that. As far as the community, it's growing, and it's growing in a positive way, and I want to be part of it.
Why do you want to represent this district? What's the main reason?
My calling. It's in my heart. I know I can be a voice for the people that don't have a voice, which are the leadership at the legislature. A lot of people think representatives can go up there and do whatever they want, but there's only a handful of people that bring things to a vote. And those handful, even maybe through no fault of their own, their hands are tied by special interests. They're the ones that are keeping their jobs, funding their political campaigns, and I'm just up here to fight to give the people a voice that don't have a voice.
How do you feel about the incumbent in your district?
Awesome guy. I've got nothing to say against the incumbent. In fact, I'm glad you asked that question, because I think anyone running for office in the whole United States, whether you win or lose, if you just stand up, I support you. Because there's too many people, there's too many races in the whole United States, even in our state legislature, where the incumbents, it's come to the point where we've got 100 counties, and half the districts, no one's running against the other party. So you got the one party who's had an incumbent in there forever, and the other party, which is totally wrong. They're like, well, let's just concede this party and spend money on a race we're going to win, which doesn't even give the other party a chance to just, let's say your guy's going to lose, just there's no one there on the ticket. So you go, let's say I'm a Democrat and I go in and there's a Republican incumbent. I go in to vote and there's no Democrat on the ticket. It's like, seriously? Well, a third of the legislative seats at the State House, they're running unopposed.
You recently ran under a different party. Why did you select to be an independent?
I've always leaned conservative Republican. And I always get beat out. But as the races have gotten tighter and tighter, it's usually just like a percentage point. In fact, Jack Whitver, president of the Senate, majority leader of the Senate, I've spoken to him, and I pulled out like 8 years ago because he says this is going to be a tight race, Brett. And he says, you do what you want to do, but I'm just telling you. And then I says, Jack, I really respect you. And I'm going through some personal things, and I'm going to pull out now. So I pulled out. He won by like 1% of the vote, Jack Whitver. So anyway, why I'm still running, or why I changed parties, or what you said, why I'm an independent now, is because 2 years ago, there's like 26 states in the nation that have changed people running for the party and getting beat out in the primary. And so now people are jumping in like me. I jumped back in as an independent. Well, the parties were getting so close between the Democrats and Republicans. He's okay. It was getting so close between the Democrats and Republicans about I'm going to guess like conservatively, 13 states passed the sore loser law. So the state of Iowa passed the sore loser law on me. He's okay. The state of Iowa passed the sore loser law. So what the sore loser law is you can't piggyback if you lean Republican. You can't piggyback and then jump back in as an independent. So now you have to declare yourself an independent right off the bat. And I'm thinking, okay, I can do that. Let's dance. So I went to the Secretary of State's office 2 years ago, and they said no. They passed the sore loser law, and I'm pretty sure it's because of you, Brett. So anyway, so they declined me running as an independent 2 years ago. So I said fine. So here I am speaking to the public, saying, hey, I'm running as an independent because they won't let me lean conservative anymore because they passed the sore loser law because they thought I'd split the ticket. Here we go.
Last question for you would just be, what's your final push to voters?
The final push to voters is, my name is Brett Nelson. I've been running basically as an independent since 1998. And I'm a man of the people, and I think people need a voice. And also I think the state legislature needs more spirit. The state legislature needs more spirit. They need someone to go up there that's an independent that has a spark. And one thing that's always stuck with me is you can, the biggest battle, not between the legislative chambers, but even personally yourself, you can be your best friend or you can be your worst enemy. The biggest battle is within yourself.